Welcome to Legion Radio, a podcast about all things e-commerce, the official podcast of the private label Legion, hosted by Tim Jordan.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Legion Radio, the podcast for the private label Legion e-commerce community. We're super excited to have you here. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit our subscribe button below. Please show us a little love. If you have any questions during this podcast episode and you're watching on YouTube, make sure to comment below and ask any questions you have, make any comments, make fun of us if you want to. We don't care. If you're listening this on iTunes or on Podbean or one of the audio-only podcast channels, make sure to go over to our Facebook page and Facebook group. The Facebook group is Private Label Legion, and you can get involved in the free community there. We got free content, all sorts of good stuff. And speaking of Facebook groups and Facebook gurus and YouTube gurus, we've got one for you today. This guy, Saad, has been around. He's seen a lot of stuff. He's got a lot of experience. He's got his own free content out there, and his mission, he was telling me before the show, is just to help people. That's like what he's focusing on, is just making sure that people have the help and the content and the information they need to succeed in their own business. So Saad, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Tim. I really appreciate it. And I'm very happy to be with you today.
So where are you at right now?
I'm in Kuwait City, actually, but I'm originally from Canada. I live in Canada, so in the North Pole, basically. And I just came to Kuwait. I came for vacation for 2 months, and then I overstayed, and I was been 6 months. But I'm going to be back on September, hopefully back to Canada, because I missed the sun. I missed the snow.
You missed the snow. I was about to say, if you're in Kuwait, you're getting plenty of sun, right?
It's 55 degrees today, so it's a little bit hot. And I'm talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit.
Oh, yeah. So that's smoking hot then. It's almost like you're in the desert.
I am in the desert.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
The only thing is missing is the camels passing by.
Yep, I got you. All right, cool. So what I'd like to do is jump into content as quick as possible. But we always like to know, where you come from. If we've got you on here and you've got some experience that you're going to share, what a lot of people in this e-commerce community, in this entrepreneurship journey, they assume that they can't do it. They assume that they can't make it. They assume that they're not good enough or smart enough or capable enough to run their own business and be successful. And what I'd love to do is show that there are plenty of successful, knowledgeable, independent business owners out there that didn't have a particularly grandiose start, right? Like they didn't have some crazy formal education to do this. They didn't necessarily come from money or a lot of experience. And I think those humble beginnings are encouraging to hear about. So I'm not saying yours is a humble beginning, but just for the purpose of what we're saying or what I'm saying here, I think it's great to know where people come from. So can you give us, you don't have to give us the whole I was born in, Canada and the age of 3, I had Nike pumps, but just give us the what were you doing before you got into e-commerce and what led you on this journey to step into this realm?
Very, very good question. I think is always you need to remember your humble beginnings, because that's going to help you to keep going and keep grinding. Because as soon as you forget where you started from, you're not going to have the drive to keep going. Actually, when I started, I had a formal education in mechanical engineering technology and a draftsman. But I had a very hard time finding a job. So I was going to work in a gas station, in car washes. I worked in construction. I worked in restaurants. I did every job that's possible just to make ends meet. And I had no knowledge about marketing online. I never even bought one item from Amazon before I start selling on Amazon. I maybe start selling on Amazon before I bought something on Amazon, which is very weird. I was just like a regular guy who's trying to make money. And at that time, I bought a pickup truck. I'm a pickup guy. That's the only thing that I can fit in. And I bought that pickup truck, and I was thinking in the weekend, I was like, hey, how can I make extra money? So I went on YouTube. I was like, how to strap a fridge on back of my pickup truck. And then I see an ad comes up. You want to make money online with Amazon? I was like, what's Amazon? What's going on with Amazon? I looked into it, and then I found out that people actually sell on Amazon. I didn't know. I thought it was Amazon like Walmart. They get the product, they sell them themselves. And I started getting into it. I was very scared. I didn't have the money. I barely was living from paycheck to paycheck. And I looked into it. I started with retail online arbitrage. I started doing very well. It started giving me the drive to keep going. I saw the money coming in. It's not much, but for me, $1,000 at that time was a really big deal. And I moved from retail arbitrage, a little bit in wholesale, and then I really want to do private label. I was a little bit trickier, but I love tricky stuff. From my background in engineering, I love to solve problems. So what I did, I just started digging into it. My first two products were huge success, is amazing success, to the point that I didn't even know what to do with them. I couldn't even sell one item from them, but I learned a lot from it. And that's it, man. That's how I started. And now, building a very, very good business for myself. I'm always traveling. I'm not saying this is going to be typical for everybody, but it's possible. If you put your heads into it and you have the work ethics, I think you can make it happen. And what it takes is focusing in one direction. If you focus on one thing and keep doing it over and over, eventually you figure it out.
Yeah. So you started, construction, working in restaurants. You're a blue collar worker. You probably didn't know very much about computers at all. And you literally went to YouTube, saw something about this, and within a couple of years, you were an e-commerce expert. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I actually, when I get into it, I couldn't stop. I had to solve a problem. Like, it's my nature. I get obsessed about things. Like, if something I want to learn, I have to keep going at it. And, with engineering, when you have a problem, you always need to come up with the new things. I used to work in R&D, research and development section, so always trying to figure out things. And this is, I don't know, it was very tempting to know that you can make money online without going to work. And I was like, what? I mean, not to work, physical work, you're staying home and doing it.
Yeah.
And that's it, yeah.
Man, that is so cool. So now you've got your own private brand on Amazon that's selling every day. You're making money while you sleep, and you're trying to share the wealth. And I know that we won't get too much into details, but you have a pretty solid history of coaching people, helping people. You've seen a lot of different business models and a lot of what works and what doesn't work in this industry. You've kind of got a really good bird's eye view of kind of what's going on and what's working and not working, right?
Absolutely. That's something I really get into, really loving teaching. I love teaching. I don't know, just because I like to hear myself talking for some reason, but yes, I have seen a lot, and I've seen what people struggle with and what's working and what's not working. And teaching keeps you sharp. And I love that fact of it,
So one of the great things about teaching is you get to see so many different case studies. You get to see what people are doing successfully, what's not working. And that's what you're on here to share today. I know that you're an expert in product research, and we do a lot of that in our community and our content already. But you mentioned a couple things pre-show that I would like for you to hit on specifically for our listeners. The first one is product differentiation. So we know that as we're going through the product research stage, ideally we're going to find products that are in demand with low competition. But there's also this huge segment of opportunities and product opportunities by differentiating. And that can be a little bit difficult to figure out and master. I know there's a lot of people that teach, hey, find a product that only has 3-star reviews and fix the leak, or, put it in better packaging. And I think that maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was a big opportunity of that. But now you actually have to do true differentiation, not just make a little bit better quality. So can you go through some of the methods maybe and the mindset that you use in trying to differentiate your products to create successful listings and successful brands?
Absolutely. I think you hit it right. Everything starts with a good product that's working, and you think that there's a demand for it, which is high demand, low competition. It depends what you mean by low competition. Every product has competition. It's about how much money you want to put behind it and how much you're willing to fight for it, which is very important. Variation, it comes in my opinion, in my own small head. Differentiation comes in 3 forms. So you have variation, which is a regular product that you just have multiple colors, multiple size, multiple packs, 2-pack, 3-pack, 6-pack. Then you have the bundling, which is basically putting an add-on to a product. So if you're selling a laptop, let's say, for example, you're putting a mouse, which is, I feel this is really, really good area for beginners to start with. But I think the mistake happens. A lot of people are, the add-on is too expensive. It doesn't make sense to sell it, to make it attractive. And the other things, or they do something very cheap, as you said, with the packaging. I think packaging is a must in every product. It's not a differentiation. Having an ebook, I don't feel it's really a differentiation factor. I mean, come on. Most people are opting out, and you're giving an ebook and you think you're going to kill it. It's not that the way to go for it. I feel you need to find something physical with a low value, but adds a lot of perceived value to the consumer or to the buyer that really attracts them. And the other thing, the third part of differentiation is customization, which is where the game is. And I think if you really find a product and you find a lot of flaws and you be able to change them, to change a specific mistake in that product, I think you can do very well. And you need to make it present in your images. You need to make it present in your title to make sure that people know what's going on, because people are reading bad reviews anyways before they buy your product or see your product. So if you mention that, is really going to help you. And I think the regular places that you can find differentiation, which is the regular ones, frequently bought together. You can go ahead and find in Pinterest, which is, I love Pinterest. People are very creative in Pinterest.
So I was just about to ask you, I know there's two sectors for differentiation. You know, we can look on Amazon for differentiation, or we can look completely off Amazon. Which one do you feel has better opportunities, and which one do you feel is a little bit easier to master the art of?
I think Amazon is easier because the data it's within Amazon, and you know what people bought and what frequently bought together. So you be able to put A and B together, which is really easier, and the data is good. But if you want to be a little bit risk taker and think outside of the box, I think Pinterest, Etsy, looking at Instagram influencers in that field and see what they do. And I know like a lot of people do also on YouTube. They go ahead and see influencers of what they're doing on YouTube, and you'll be able to find other ideas that are really creative. The last tip I can give on that is actually there's a website called yasiv.com. YASIV.com, where you actually put an ASIN of a product, and it tells you all the products that are connected to that product. And then you can make your assumptions, or you can make you have the true data to say, hey, this product goes well with this product, and you take it from there. But differentiation, it's really, really important. And you need to present it in your listing 100%.
So Yasiv, when it's talking about connected products, is that just through Amazon? So it's going through basically almost a reverse ASIN indexing type lookup to see what's related?
Yes, kind of that, but it's going to be images. So you're going to have, it's like a spider web. So you're going to have your image, and then you're going to have arrows connected to each product and what they lead to your product. And you'll be able to find the best product.
Yeah.
The best
yeah, perfect. All right. So how do you go about finding differentiators off of Amazon? I know that's a struggle. And just recently I was doing a workshop in Vegas, had 50 folks in there, and we were talking about this. And that was the question is, how do I make this correlation between going to Amazon and then jumping to an off Amazon platform? How do you make those connections and make those dots? Because there's not a spider web. There's not a clear roadmap drawn. I tell people it's more of an art than a science at that point. But can you give some tips on how you teach people to do that?
You know what? I think you said it's all about intuition and having experience. I think experience really plays a big factor here. I think if you go off Amazon, or if you do like a lot of times when I consult with the clients, I go on Pinterest and just type the main keyword of the product and see what other things that I can sell with them. And I see what things, that could be useful. I can target this in an image and I can make them buy it because, hey, it adds a lot of value. For example, if we sell a specific plates, or cups, I can say, hey, these are good for gathering, is good for weddings, good for stuff. I can say, hey, you know what? If I add a little pen to it, and people can write emotions and be funny about it, it's going to add a lot of value. It's not about the pen, it's about the emotions that you're selling. And the other thing is Alibaba. Alibaba, I think you can find a lot of things. So I type the keyword and see what other things are coming up. And I will find something that's within my budget, not too expensive, not too bulky, which is a lot of people, they make the package too big just because of the add-on. And then I make a decision and then say, hey, which one adds value? And the best thing, ask your friends, ask your family, hey, what do you think about this? Would you buy it if it has this in it? Hey, what do you think of, and you get the feedback slowly. And that's how I go about it, honestly. There's no set rule.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I was doing a coaching call last night in our Centurion League program, and That's what I was trying to explain is there's not one. Someone was asking about a SOP, a standard operating procedure, what's step 1 through 5, and it varies. A lot of times I run down these rabbit trails and rabbit holes and just wait till something pops up. So it is, like I said, it's an art. It's not a science. It's not exact. But like you were saying, the more experience you have, meaning the more time that you spend doing it, the better you get at it. Somebody was asking me a question last night again in our coaching program. What's your success rate on test products? So the products that you test, how many actually work, and how many do you go in like full blown production to actually launch and sell? I said, when you start out, maybe 10%. I said, but as you get better and better at this, those odds get a lot higher and you get beyond 50%. And that's not even a hard and fast rule. A lot of people that have been learning and haven't launched yet. We've got members in our program that have been 4 months in the program without launching their first product because they're just trying to get as much information as they can. They'll have a higher success rate than someone that launches on week 1, right? So there's no real rhyme or reason, but folks, when you're wanting to do this, just spend a lot of time, just dive around, don't get frustrated, just keep hunting, searching, researching and learning, and those opportunities will present themselves. They're out there in massive amounts. You just have to spend the time to gain the experience and that keen eye on how to find these opportunities when they do present themselves.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I think it's more about just keep going at it, and more experience you have, you know what to anticipate more. You know what is going to happen. You know how much it's going to cost you to launch. You know how long it's going to be, how long it's going to take for you to be successful or to get the return in your investment. It's all varies. Many times I think I launch a product and I think it's going to be success, and then it just flops. But you keep moving and you go to the next one.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about launching now. We're going to fast forward the identification and the differentiation. You've got a product, you're committed to it, you're 100% in. Launching is something that is a hot topic. There are so many methods and ways of launching that worked 2 or 3 years ago that don't work anymore. And there's people out there teaching courses and selling courses, not giving you, like lies. They're not lying to you. They're telling you what worked for them, but it doesn't mean it's going to work now. Also, the terms of service not necessarily have changed from Amazon, but there are some things they're enforcing now that they used to not enforce, such as their, review manipulation and things like that. So as of right now, as of August 2019, Saad, what do you see as working that we can get away with when it comes to launching? And folks, what we're talking about is once you've got a product on Amazon, you need to start getting some momentum. And that's what we refer to as a launch. We're getting some sales, we're getting some reviews, we're getting some traction on our product, which Amazon will recognize, hey, this product sells, and it'll start presenting your product more often on search pages. So, Saad, I'm very familiar with PPC launches, very, very aggressive PPC launches. Aside from that, there's not much that we do. So if you would kind of give us the 20-minute education on launches.
All right. So the PPC is the most important. I think I always start with it to validate my product and to validate the offer that I have. So I start with PPC all the time, the first 2 weeks, just for me to get the data back and to get unit session percentage. If I know what keywords I can target, then I'll be able to use the other methods that I'm going to be speaking of. So once you get your keyword, once you get unit session percentage in the launch, you're going to have few reviews. Depending how good you are with reviews, you will be over 10%. When you're over 10%, then you start digging a little bit deeper. The things that works now is you can do Facebook ads, which is the normal thing that people do, just regular Facebook ad. Do not do 99%. I think 20 to 40% is going to be harder to sell, but it's going to be safer for you. And the one that I'm really now doing a lot of is ManyChat. I'm really trying to target it through ManyChat. So from my insert card, I'll be able to build my subscribers, and the other thing through my Facebook ads with comments to be able to get people to subscribe to my subscriber. Then I can sell them a lot of things. I'll be able to offer them the 10% or the 20% discount, and then give them another option if they want more than 20%. If they want to get a free product, they can go through another sequence, which is the same as search, find, and buy method. It's very risky. I think it's a gray area, and I'm being very honest with you. It's basically You get them through a funnel, tell them, hey, if you're really interested in this product, you buy it for full price. Send me your seller ID or an image, and then you'll be able to refund them in the back end, which is really, really a little bit risky. But I think really works a lot. Full purchases makes a lot of sense with Amazon, and they really have a high ranking powers than a regular discounted purchases. I think the last stats that I saw was for each full purchase equals 4 to 5 discounted sales, which is really huge. The other ManyChat sequence that people do now, it's lottery system. Which is, I think it's really smart and it's fun. I think it grabs people attention. Hey, we're offering from 20% to 100% discounts, and you and your luck, you get them this funnel, they come in, they get their chance, and you'll be able to, you can ask them for view, you can ask them for ranking, you can ask them whatever you want, and then you can give them the discount of 50, 60, 70, 80%, 100%. And I think that's in a nutshell, actually, what you need to do. The best thing you can do, whatever I like to do, I use PPC, ManyChat, and outside traffic from other launches. So, for example, I know Rebate Key is very expensive for full purchases, but I can use it for a little bit, like 10% or 20% with my launches as well. So all that combined together, I think it gives you a really, really nice boosting. And that's exactly what you do with launches. There's not much in it. You just how much you're willing to pay and how much time you have in your hand.
And obviously, you see a huge uptick in sales. Things really speed up when you do launches. If we didn't want to do a giveaway launch or a rebate launch or anything like that, how much slower do you think it is to do PPC? Let's say we just wanted to do PPC and we have a good product, so it should rank eventually. Do you see a big variable in speed, or are you selecting products assuming that you're going to need this artificial launch to get them rolling?
Artificial launches for sure are going to have a little bit more speed and faster for you to rank, but how you're going to stick to that position is going to be a little bit harder. I think with PPC is the safest because you're spending the money, you know how much people are buying, you know how they're converting, you know what keywords you're going to target to be able to rank for them, but takes longer time, but you will stick. And what I see, like my brand that I just launched right now, and we're making from $30,000 to $40,000 a month in sales. So people don't get excited. It's 30 only in sales, 20 to 25% and net profit is only with PPC. I did nothing with it except PPC. Okay. But what's nice about it is that every time I run out of stock, which is I run out of stock now more than I like, every time I come back to the same position because Amazon remembers how much money you spent. Remembers how much you position through PPC, how much your conversion, how your relevancy is through that specific keyword or through that position. So they will give it to you at even lower cost when I started. Like my cost was $3 to $4 per keyword. Now I'm at $2, $2.11, and my profit margin from $15 to $17 per unit. So it gives me the margin. That's another thing, which is higher margin product you need, and that's it. But PPC, I really seeing a lot of stabilizing, and my positions are really good. And actually, I'm asking this, Tim. Do you see that now in your products? Is actually every time you have low inventory, your organic position drops down according to your inventory level? I
haven't really seen that based on inventory. I know it definitely drops when you run out. And I know there's a lot of debate on how to stop that. Right now, I've even heard not to close your listing, but to suppress it, because suppressing it will actually hold your existing rank better than actually closing the listing down. But I haven't really seen anything happen when inventory got low. And I will say this: the products that I've sold have not been super competitive. Right. So they've been products that there's definitely search demand and people are buying it, but they're not so competitive that little tiny tweaks in the algorithm are going to make huge adjustments on page placement.
I'm seeing this actually, and I've been testing now for almost a month with my product and my other brand with my other partners. Every time we reach up to a third, I mean, this is not general rule, but that's what we're seeing. is 30 units or less. Actually, we drop our organic position from the 3rd to the 10th or even 15th position. And once we get the units in and we have sufficient, we go back up to again to the 3rd position or the 2nd position, depending on the keyword, which is really, really weird. And, I think Amazon really playing this game a lot, especially with their new in-stock head start program that you get your product available before even arrive to Amazon fulfillment center. And I think the inventory really now playing a factor in your position, because more inventory you have, if they give you that position, that means more sales mean more fees, more commission for them. Inventory, but definitely PPC is the safest if you know how to do it. That's it. Yeah. The other thing I'm doing now with the insert card is leading it to a landing page, ManyChat landing page, which is the focus on all my insert card from my ManyChat is basically taking them to my sequence, take their email from the sequence itself, then asking them for giving them a 10% or 20%, giving them an ebook, give them value, and then you basically gonna beg for the review. You're gonna say, we're a small family business, as everyone says, giving your slogan, giving all the stuff, and then asking for the review. Once they give you the review, you will be able to give them the big, deep discount. And sometimes you can surprise them instead of giving 20%. Hey, thank you so much. Here you are. This is your 40% instead of 20%. This is the things I'm doing right now. I'm actually changing a lot of things in my brand itself to make it happen.
So with ManyChat, with the chat bot, how do you get people into that sequence initially? Because I know it sounds good, but if we're just selling on Amazon, we don't have people in our social media, corridor yet. So how do you go about building that audience and that ManyChat audience first to use them for your Amazon sales?
Yeah, this is going to be a longer process. It's going to take at least 3 months to 4 months to do, which is I just started doing that. First of all is with the insert card, as I told you, and the second one with Facebook ads. You need to be a Facebook ads. And the 2 methods that I've seen the Facebook ad that really works, it's a regular discount or giving them a free bottle for feedback. That's what I say, for feedback, only for you feedback. People sign up and you'll be able, once you get them in, you'll be able to target them. And the other thing is from Facebook ads, which is really good. If your product really can do that, is retargeting. So all what you need is 100 clients or 100 customers. Once you get the 100 customers, you can do a custom audience, which is going to help you to retarget. And then you target other people who have similar interests, similar buying methods, buying habits, and you'll be able to target them there with more focus. But it needs a lot of testing as well.
Yeah, got it. So you're building an audience to help launch, and then you're also building an audience to continue to buy, and you're using that audience for different things. So, you might get someone to buy and then join your audience for future sales, but you can actually go and start building an audience before you even have a single product to help launch your first.
Yes, absolutely. Which is one of my friends who actually selling others, his product in production already. And he's actually selling a product from someone else's just to be able to collect those emails. And then he's going to launch his product, which is smart, and honestly.
Yeah, that's, hey, if it works, right?
Yeah, which is smart. And I think in this one, it will happen more the contest. It's much better than a regular giveaway with a product. So you made a big contest for 1 week or 2 weeks with a high value and make it $200, $300, $400, collect all these emails, and then you'll be able to target them. And why I'm really doing it, for me, building it for sure, besides the fact that you can have more value of your brand to sell and everything, is to be able to get their feedback for new products that I would like to launch within the same brand. Get their feedback. Hey, what's working? What's not? Do you like that? You don't like that? Getting their feedback and getting their engaged, and then re-ranking, which is, I think, because if you really run out of stock a lot, which is thankfully, my product from the US, so it takes 1 week to 10 days to get in. But I think will be very nice for re-ranking to get them more coupons and re-rank and do all this stuff. And cross-promote, which is a lot of people needs to know. Cross-promote. If you really can, cross-promote. Hey, buy this product, get this product for 30%, 40%. Do it in your listing. Do it in your insert card, which is really nice way of doing it. And this was working, hopefully.
Yeah, nice. What do you think the next big change is, or the next big method when it comes to launching is? Any idea?
I really don't have it. I think PPC, it took me a long time to master it. Not even master it, sorry. This is a big word for someone to say mastering PPC. To be knowledgeable in PPC. And I think ManyChat is really big. I think people are not capitalizing on it. And I was one of those, I was an idiot not doing it, honestly. I was like, oh, ManyChat is the newest thing. Everyone's talking about it and it's going to die off. But if I think ManyChat, I see Kuwait, which is something Middle East, they're doing WhatsApp. And now WhatsApp, they're building big groups with WhatsApp, Telegram, and what's called that? WeChat, which is in China when I was in China. Oh my God, WeChat.
I'm interested to see what happens with WhatsApp now that Facebook has purchased them. There's going to be some big integrations, and there's more WhatsApp users in the world than Facebook users. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm excited to see what happens with that.
Me too. I'm very excited about this, and I'm looking forward to see how everything works. I know someone's going to come up with an idea, which is every time there's a problem, there's a solution, and there's someone making some kind of profit from it. And I believe someone's going to come, is going to come and give us the whole formula instead of us thinking.
I agree. All right. So really good content, really good information. I appreciate you sharing all that. I think that the conversation about launches is very pertinent. I think that a lot of people are curious about it. If you're not sure, folks, don't do it. There's a lot of sketchy stuff out there, a lot of black hat stuff that can not just get you in trouble with Amazon, but get you in trouble, period, like legally. There's some crazy stuff going on. So be very, very careful, and make sure that if you're listening to a method or a tactic that somebody was doing 2 years ago, make sure it's still relevant, because things have changed and things are changing super, super fast. So Saad, you're in Kuwait now, you're going back to Canada, but you have a Facebook group that you started, which is FBA Giants. Is that right?
Yes, Amazon FBA Giants. I started it because I had bad experience in the past, and I really want to build something based on integrity, honesty, and transparency, which is the same goal that you, Tim, that you are reaching, which is giving really honest content with full transparency without BSing nobody, no fluff. And I started, it's been only 2 months. We have enough people, very engaged community. And yeah, I'm very happy to have them, honestly. It keeps you in the loop all the time.
Yeah, it does. And you've got a new YouTube channel too, right? How do people find your YouTube channel?
Saad Basim, Amazon FBA Giants. That's where you can find me. I'm there like twice a week, every Wednesday and every Saturday. Wednesday is tutorial time, and Saturday is basically live Q&A that I do. Yeah, that's where you find me. And if people asking why I called it Giants, if I look at myself in the mirror, I see a big giant. That my size is too big. And
I would say it's because we can all be giants. There's never been a better opportunity in the history of the world to create a business, to create a brand, to do something big, to go from being a restaurant and construction worker to traveling the world, owning your own business. We can all be giants this opportunity if we do it smart, if we learn from the right people, if we take very, very selective risks and just put in our time researching and learning. I think that it's hugely possible. So
you touched on the right thing. Learn from the right people. Do not just hear the hype, the glorious stuff that's happening. Learn from people who you really trust. They have a good history. They have done it before, not only just selling a course to sell it, but to actually really help people and not wearing a mask that really masks the whole truth. 100%. I agree with you, man. 100%.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Saad. For any of you that want to get in touch with him, check him out on Facebook, check him out on YouTube, find his Facebook group. And we're going to sign off now. Again, if you have not subscribed to our channel, Private Label Legion on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to it. Check out our Facebook group, Private Label Legion, and ask to join that group. You can't miss it. So Saad, thank you again so much for being on. We appreciate you helping us put together some more content, another episode. And for those of you that are listening, we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you so much, and take care, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
You've just wrapped up another episode of Legion Radio, hosted by Tim Jordan. Past episodes, links, and show notes can be found at privatelabellegion.com.